Hello, everybody. Sorry we jumped on a little bit late. So let us know what you're reading and how you're doing and all that kind of good stuff. And we'll just go ahead and start with Lee. What are you reading?
I am reading Midnight at the Barclay Hotel.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was listening in at work today. I have about 40 minutes left of it.
Oh, wow. Well done.
Yeah. What about you, Sarah?
I just started this morning The 10,000 Doors of January by Alexei A.E. Haro. I have been reading it on my Kindle, but I do have it on audio because I think I'm going to do some knitting later. I'm only a chapter into it, but the chapters are super long. So, like an hour-long chapter on audio. So I'm going to hope to get a couple chapters read, but it's that kind of she finds a magical doorway. It sounds like that one by the Wayward Children. Is that the series I'm thinking of? That's what I'm getting visions of because of these doors that she finds. So I'll probably do a couple chapters of that, but then I'm probably going to break into a Sweet Valley High just because for something to end the day. How about you, Storm?
I finished 2 books today, so
well done.
I finished the Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, which was a reason. And I've started listening to Mr. Mercedes. Ooh. And so I haven't gotten very far, like 58 pages. And it's okay so far, but it's one of those that takes you a while to get into it because it's Stephen King or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2 ebooks that I have going, and I really need to finish Deadly Alterations this week. And I'm in the middle of Ghostlight as well.
Ooh.
And stuff. I think I'm probably going to work on Shadow of Night, though, because I still have like a ways to go with it. So I'm going to get on that.
You got options.
Yes, I have lots of options. There's I have all these books. There's like a stack of books. Can I get done with them in like a week and 3 days or whatever?
I know.
It's can I do it? Yeah, don't add any more to the pile. Just finish what I've got.
I was sitting there today. I was trying to kind of write out what I was going to do for June and then still what I had left for this month. And I'm like, oh, I have to read a cozy this month. Oh, Blueberry Blunder comes out tomorrow. I wrote that down and then literally turned around and spent an hour looking for, I'm like, why are you looking for a cozy? You have one for tomorrow. I'm like, I just wasted an hour looking for a book.
I just downloaded this.
Reader problems.
Yeah. As the thing is, I look at my Libby and I'm like, look at all these books that are on here that I need to either decide I'm going to try to get to them or knock them off and put them back on hold or do whatever, or tag them or whatever. I end up usually doing that at the end of the month.
Yeah. I got the notification that I had Queen Charlotte from the library because I'd put it on hold. And I'm like, not feeling it for the next person.
Yeah.
It'll come back around to me at some point.
Yeah. Hi, Amy. She says, hi, everyone. I'm currently reading Fortune Teller by Janet De Leon. I'm at 36%. I remember she dropped everything to read that because it just came out. That's one of her favorites.
Nice.
And Cajun says, hi, everyone. Reading The Rocky Road to Ruin, an ice cream shop mystery. It's number 1. It is so good. It's one of those just one more chapter books. Yeah, I need to try that one. I don't know. I think maybe I can do an ice cream shop. I don't know. We'll have to see. Cav says, happy Victoria Day. I'm celebrating with a romantic suspense counterattack by Patricia Bradley. And Tina says, hello, y'all. I'm reading Commanded Performance by Nora Roberts. I want to start a cozy. I didn't know which one yet. And we don't have our huge cozy recommendation person here today because she is getting ready for her book club meeting. No.
This book club is more important.
Exactly.
Right? And Alicia said, hello, everyone. Currently reading A Thread of Angels by Rebecca Roanhorse. Fantasy. Not sure, but weird for sure. Those are always the ones that, you have to just keep reading to see what you're going to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jessica Ann says, hello, everyone. I'm continuing with Amari and the Night Brothers, and I'm loving it. I like that one, so I'm glad you're liking that one. Though, I tell you what, the second one leaves you on a kind of a bit of a cliffhanger, so you might want to wait until the third one comes out so that you can go just right.
There we go.
And Nadine says, hi, everyone. Just started The Dead Will Tell by Lynn Castillo, number 6 in the Cape Reporter series. All these people are ahead of me now. I think I'm on like number 5.
I think I'm on number 8, maybe. Y'all are catching up to me.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And Tina says, also need to clean my room and organize my bookshelves because I'm getting my wisdom teeth out at the end of the week. And right now it's a tripping hazard.
Best of luck.
Yes.
Yep. And Anita says, good evening. I'm reading Through the Liquor Glass by Sarah Fox. It's another series that I've started. I read the first one. I need to continue on with it because I like the first one. And Cajun says to Tina, good wishes. All goes well with your wisdom tea. Yes.
Mhm.
Some more saying good luck with your wisdom tea. And Tammy says, hello. I'm switching back and forth between The Sword of Shannara by Terry Brooks.
I think it's Terry Brooks.
Terry Brooks.
Yeah, it might be it. Yeah. A reread and The Slumber Party by Shannon Holliger. Both are excellent. I cannot speak tonight.
Okay.
And Rebecca says, howdy everyone, reading A Flicker of Doubt, book 4 in the Fairy Garden Mystery series by Daryl Wood Gerber. Cool. And Pat says, good evening everyone, reading Kelly Coffee Shop by Diana Harmon. Yep, she says it's Terry Brooks, yeah. And don't forget to thumbs up. Thanks, Pat. And Jessica Lynn says, hello, everyone. I'll be reading Closely Harbored Secret by Bree Baker, number 5 in the Seaside Cafe series.
I approve of that.
Everybody's ahead of me on that one, too, because I think I'm on number 4.
That's one series I'm actually finished.
There you go.
I'm telling myself that I'm going to finish that series this year because I'm on like number 4 and there's only 7, so there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to finish it. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, we're about to the middle of the year and I haven't read any.
It gets away from you fast. It really does.
It really does, because like I told my friend, like we'll be able to finish the Robin Carr series, the Virgin River series, and well, there's been like several months go by and we haven't read another one, and I'm like, well, if we don't read them, we're not going to get them done this year. So it's like, we need to read some of these. We're on like 15 out of 19, so I mean, we can get it done if we,
Yeah, for sure.
plug at it. And Susan Guest says, hi, everyone. I finished up with Adventure, Abductions, and Arrest by Tanya Kappas tonight. Just a few chapters left. Oh, I'm finishing it. Okay.
Excellent.
Cool.
That's a series I've got to get back to and jump back into because, they'll be at 75.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you let it slide, you're going to be like 10 or 12 behind.
Right?
Well, I really will.
And Purple Rainhorse says, hello, everyone. Starting 9 Liars. Oh, I want to read that one, and that's one of the books that I keep pushing back because I'm like, I can't fit it in, but I really want to read it.
Mm-hmm.
And Val says, hello, everybody. I think I'm going to be reading A House Full of Windsor by Christine Contino, but I need to finish listening to Digging Up Daisies by Sherry Lynn. Cool.
Nice.
If you want to get the cat ready, we can do the cat if you don't mind.
Get the kitty ready.
And I'll read a couple more.
How many minutes do we want?
Go to the top of the hour. So whatever gets
we'll
us.
say 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's good.
Ready whenever you are.
And he says, hi, all. Reading A Quiet Life in the Country by T.E. Kinsley. Another one that I want to get to.
Nice.
And so we'll just go ahead.
I just got to jump off. I just got to go to my door real quick. I'll be right back.
No problem.
Okay. And so what do I need to do? Do you?
Hold on. I'm sharing my screen.
I was going to say, I don't see anything.
There it is. There you go.
There we go. Cool. Happy reading, everyone.
Happy reading.
You're on mute.
I pushed it. I swear, I pushed the button. So how did you all do?
I literally just finished the book.
Yay!
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
Yeah, I liked it. It was cute.
Mhm.
Awesome.
How about you, Sarah?
I think I'm going to DNF the 10,000 Doors of January. I got through that hour-long chapter, half an hour, whatever. I'm just not following the story. It's like it jumps here and then it jumps there, and I'm not a fantasy reader.
Yeah,
So-
it's one of those kind of stories. Yeah, I think that's one of those. You either have to like that kind of thing, or
Yeah, I was hopeful for it, and then it's like the chapter starts it with, "Oh, I found these when I was 17." Then all of a sudden she's 9, and then she's 13, and I'm like, then she has a dog. I'm like, I don't know what's happening here.
Right.
So I'm just gonna call it, and on the next sprint, I'm gonna start What Lies in the Woods by Lindsay Curry, because that is something I can get behind.
Yay.
There you go.
How'd you do, Storm?
I'm pretty good. I had some interruptions, but I got like 9 pages read, I think, and my aunt called. Her son is coming down for Memorial Day, and we haven't seen him in forever. He lives in Washington, so of course she's like super excited. And he's the same age as me, but I'm like 3 months and 11 days exactly older than him. I always got to tease him when we were littler that I got to go to school before him because, like, I don't know how you guys do it, but like here, if birthday was born before a certain time, you could go to kindergarten. If after, you had to wait another year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so since mine was July, I got to go when I was 5, and he had to wait till he was 6 or whatever it was. So,
Oh, that's funny.
but yeah, we're having a cookout, and she's, telling me all the goodies.
Nice.
And stuff. But let's see, where am I? Oh, Tina has figured out what she's going to read. Says, okay, I know what cozy I'm going to start. Biscuits and Slash Browns by Maddie Day. That is part of the Country Store series.
I think so, yes.
That was one that I had let too much time go in between the books as a restaurant kind of cozy, that whenever I tried, I think that was maybe the one that I tried, that I read it, but then after that I was like, I'm not really feeling it. I was so confused and everything, and I'm like, I don't want to have to start over to enjoy this.
Totally understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Rena.
Yeah.
Tina says, Scribd wasn't letting me get the audiobook, but I checked Audible Premium, and they have it. Yay, well, that's good.
Fantastic.
And Jenny says, hi, everyone. I'm cleaning the kitchen during the first sprint, and then I'll be spinning the wheel to read on what I'm reading. Oh, that's cool. Wheel spinning is always fun.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Rena says, I finished 2 books yesterday, so now I have a good book hangover and don't know what to read next.
It's always a good thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Courtney says, hi, everyone. Tonight I'm switching between The Serpent and the Wings of Night and a rom-com, Falling in Love. But Ghostlight just become available on Libby, so I'm reading all the things. Yeah, I know. I hear you on that one, yeah. And Tina says, I'm so excited about Blueberry Blender because I pre-ordered it, but I'm not letting myself open it until after I get wisdom teeth out as a little present. Yeah, and that way you don't like miss half of it because you're like doped up
Yeah.
on whatever.
Give yourself the extra day too, because you are going to be out of it for that first day, and then you'll want to be able to pay attention.
I did pre-order that one on ebook, so it's coming from my Kindle. But I did also pre-order yesterday. I made the decision for the new book, One Little Spark. It's by Ellie something, but it's Maisie Yates. And it's her first, like, romantic suspense thriller, but she's writing it under a different name just so she gets,
cool.
right? Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? So I pre-ordered it as a paperback, and it's already shipped. It delivers tomorrow. I'm very excited.
Cool.
But like Tina over here, I'm waiting until after my exam, and then I can start it.
Is that tomorrow?
No, it's not till Friday.
Okay.
So I'm saving it for the week because I want to be able to concentrate on it and enjoy it.
Yeah,
So,
and Tina says that she hasn't read Peanut Butter Panic yet, so it's not like she's going to read it immediately.
Okay.
Peanut Butter Panic was so much fun too. I just read that one.
And Rabbit says, hi, I'm reading some shorts, picture books, and Survival of the Fritters tonight. Cool. I like picture books. I read a lot of them last month for Picture This, and now it's like, oh, look, another cute little picture book. And Beth Ann says, hello, I'm a lurker and started Last Days of the Romanovs by Helen Rappaport, listening audiobook while cross-stitching. Cool. Well, I'm glad
Wonderful.
you decided to speak up, Beth
Yeah,
Ann. We always
yes,
like
thank
you
you.
to let us know what you're reading.
Yeah.
And cross-stitching, that's like something Sarah likes to do.
There's a lot of us in here.
Yeah.
So, welcome, Beth Ann from Cajun. Yeah. And then Susan says, I don't buy many paperback books anymore, but I'm addicted to scrolling through Audible Plus and adding the free ones to my library. I'm going to try to get through some of them. Yeah. Sometimes it's just fun to scroll through and add. I do that on Libby and stuff. You know, when somebody says something, I'm really learning to just tag it, and then one of these days when I'm like, oh, I want a romance, I can just go through my tag.
That's right.
Pick it out. And Tammy says, I love the Brie Breaker series so much. Yeah, I like it too. Jessica Lynn says, I'm getting sad though that after this there's only 2 left and I don't want it to end. And Sarah understands that too.
That's why I don't finish series.
Right.
That's my excuse.
Well, that was like with me with the Amish mystery series. It's like, oh, I want to finish it, but oh, I don't want it to be ending. So.
Yeah, you don't want it to end.
And Amy says the Misfortune series is my favorite cozy series, and she just got me into cozy mystery series.
Excellent.
I need to try that one because it always sounds fun when people are talking about it, and it's like set in the like bayous or something. So, and Danielle says I finished 2 books yesterday, and hopefully I can finish a few more before the end of the month. I'm going to start out tonight with Thirst Green by Miss Reed. I don't know if that's Lush Green or Thrush Green or if that's
right.
Yeah.
And Susan Guest says to Amy, I love the Misfortune series too. I'm waiting for the latest to be available on audiobook. It's one of the books I like to listen to because the narrator is terrific.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, when that's like me with some, I have to tell myself when I'm on NetGalley that I shouldn't just jump and grab it off of NetGalley because I know that I'm going to wait until it comes out on audiobook anyway, and so I might as well just be patient and wait. Because like some of my favorite copies, I see them on there and I'm like, oh, I should get that. But then I'm like, no, because I like the narrator and I'm going to wait until it comes on audio. So why grab that extra NetGalley that I'm just going to have hanging on my, thing. So.
And then that's an extra stress over your head about it for no reason.
Right.
Ashley says, hey, y'all, I need a comfort read today. So that means I'm starting the next in the Gaslight mystery series. My sister was admitted to the hospital today.
Hope all is well.
She's going to be doing okay. And that is definitely a good comfort read because I love the Gaslight series.
Mm-hmm.
And Rebecca says, I'm reading The Fire Thief by Deborah Booker, a mystery that takes place in Hawaii. Ooh. That sounds interesting. Loving the history. I'm learning about Hawaii.
That's awesome.
That sounds cool. Have to look that up. And Danielle says, Ashley, I hope your sister's feeling much better soon. Yes.
Agreed.
Thanks. Hi, Christy is daydreaming. Says, hey, I'm continuing A Supermarket by Bobby Hall while I make frozen pizza.
Ooh.
And Cajun says, Ashley, I hope your sister's better soon. And Pat says, read 8% of roommate just got home and bought pizza.
Pizza's becoming the meal of the night here.
Right?
Sounds good, too. We had French toast tonight. Dad, he's been bothering me about French toast. And I said, we don't have enough bread. So what's he do? He goes and buys some more bread.
There you go.
I'm like, fine, okay.
But if you said we don't have enough vegetables, he would not have ran out to get some more vegetables.
For salad, no.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, if I would have said we're having salad tonight, he would have been like,
yeah.
Right.
And Kate didn't finish my book. 5 stars, especially since this is the first in the series. Just great.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I really like it when first in the series hits out of the ballpark right at the beginning. Because a lot of times, most of them are like 3, maybe 4 sometimes. But yeah, it always takes me a couple to get into it. So, Melmac, she's alive. Says, hi, Sarah. Hi, Lee. Hi, Sarah. Hi, everyone. I just want to pop in and say hi. I don't know if I'll be around after the sprints. Just took some cold medicine. They're making me sleepy. Oh,
Feel better.
got a cold.
Absolutely.
That's a bummer. Yeah. I was afraid my allergies were going to start acting up earlier because I sneezed. No, so I'm like, it's like, no. Everybody's saying, feel better, Melmac.
Mm-hmm.
And Melmac says to Jessica, thanks. It's not too bad. Hopefully, if it stays away, but I want to stop it in its tracks before it morphs into full-fledged cold. Yeah. Right now, it's more annoying than anything. Yeah, and it seems like I don't know what kind she has or whatever, but I do know that the flu bug, like the stomach flu, seems to be kind of going around because I know some people that have had that. So I hope you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And Momac says, "Thank you. I'm catching up on some comments now." And said, "Hope your sister's doing good." And Anita's 36%. Melmac, that's the worst when it's an annoyance, and hopefully it gets better sooner or later. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And it's nothing like being sick when it's nice outside and you can look
Right.
outside and you can't do anything. So Cajun says, Melmac, hope you're able to get a good night's sleep and feel much better.
And it's even worse in the age of COVID, if you will, now. Like, the second somebody sneezes,
Yeah,
they're
everybody's
losing their mind, like...
Right.
yeah, it's like everybody's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
meanwhile, it's also allergy season, so,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, and that's like 90% of my, is I'm
Right.
sneezing because, and I don't know, but I can just feel like allergies are different for me than a cold.
Yeah.
yes.
You get that tickle?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like scratchy. It's not.
Oh, I
really,
hate it when I get like the tickle in my ears and I can't get to it, and you're like, it's like you're scratching your head. Like
you want to like take your head off and just get in there and
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And Val says, I went with digging up daisies. I made it to 23%. Cool. And Annie got 20%, and Amy got 43%.
Well done, guys.
And Purple Reinhardt, 44 pages. Cool. Daniel made it to 24%. And don't do that. It might messed me up. It went up and down, up and down. And Tina said, read 7% of Commanded Performance and got all the books on my shelves. They're not organized yet, but no longer in a pile. Well, that's progress.
Absolutely.
25 pages for Jessica Ann, 56 for Jessica Lynn.
Well done.
And the Cajun, Melmac says the Cajun, thank you. And 2. Oh, I DNF'd 1,000 Doors of January, Sarah, and I read fantasy. I was just so confused and was difficult to get into. And the author's writing wasn't.
Yes.
So,
Very flowery, which I know a lot of people really like, but it's not my jam.
yeah.
So.
I don't do well with flowery stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
And Lily says, just started reading Tim by Colleen McCullough. Cool. What are you thinking about it? I know that's the author of The Thornbirds, I believe.
Yes.
I read a small book by her to give her like a little, taste to see what I thought, and I didn't like it very well. So I'm hoping maybe her bigger ones are a little better because I have The Thornbirds, but I haven't.
So do I.
I keep telling myself I'm going to give it a try, but I haven't yet. And it's like Melissa's like favorite, so it's like I need
It's
to try
also a chunker. Like it's not an. It's like my mom's favorite as well. So.
And my copy, like whenever I was looking at it, I think like last year or whatever, it has an autograph in it.
Really?
Yeah, it has, and it says Colleen McCullough. It was kind of sloppy-ish, like, and I'm like, it was probably because she was older whenever she was doing it. So I was like, that was kind of cool. It was something I wasn't expecting that I picked up at a like thrift store, and it had like autograph. So.
It's the book. It actually came out the year I was born. So oftentimes you see like on reading prompts, like read a book the year that you were born.
Yeah.
I'm holding it for that. And then watch that prompt will come up and be like, what else came out in 79?
Yeah, exactly. The short story came out.
Oh, this picture book came out. Fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did one of those. Read a book that came out in the year you were born, and I read Jaws.
Oh, awesome. I love it.
There you go.
Which I like the movie better than the book.
Very different. They're very different.
They are very different. Well, you get a lot more of the cop and like his situation. Like he's almost like divorced or getting a divorce.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of drama with him and his wife in the
Yes.
book that you don't get in the movie. It's like they took all the like sharp bits and put it in the movie.
In the movie, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot more like mafia going on,
Yeah,
and
it's a lot
yeah,
of
the real
stuff,
estate mafia thing going on. Yeah,
I've only ever seen the movie. So.
yeah, it's quite different in the.
I gave like the book 3 stars, but I thought it was quite kind of boring. Yeah, except for the shark parts were pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'd actually be interested in reading Jurassic Park because I've
Jurassic Park I like.
Okay.
Except there were some different things in that too, because I was reading it, go, wait, this person, they're still in the movies. And I'm like, wait a second. But I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I liked it.
One of these days.
And Jessica Lynn says, I hope your sister gets well soon. Yes, hospitals are no fun. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy said, the Fortune series is so funny, and they're set in the bayou, a small town called Sinful in Louisiana. I highly recommend them. Now, I like that, the name of the town.
Right? Now I want to read it for that reason.
Thank you. Hearts. Cajun says, I read Could You Survive Midsummer, which is like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. I want to pick all the choices going one way and not knowing which the other. This is stressing me out. Yeah.
When I used to read those, I used to go back and read them again and like pick something different.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I died. Got to start over.
Yeah.
I'll pick this place. Yeah. I'll feel better soon. Malak says, I think mine's just a cold. It's not a stomach flu. I don't know. It could be sinus allergies. There's so much pollen and tree debris floating around. Yeah, and my phone keeps saying, Watson says the allergy is going to be like, it's going to be high today. And I said, who is this Watson? And I have words for this guy.
Yeah, it's been bad.
That's hilarious.
Yes, pollen is horrible. I hate it. Yes. And Anita says, Ashley, I hope your sister gets better soon. And Jessica Ann says, I like the movie better than the book. See? It just, the book was just slower.
Yeah.
Thanks. And I hope your sister's better soon. And thank you for all the well wishes.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you. And then caught up with the comments. So we might as well just jump into another sprint.
Sure.
And one more. Sarah, yes, I'm marking my place. There are big decisions are made so I can go one way or another.
If only real life was like that, right? Let's go here, here. I changed the kitty.
Oh, we've got a different background anyway.
Yeah.
That feels more springish.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Happy reading, everyone.
Happy reading.
So how did everybody do?
I started reading a Babysitter's Club book. One, I just want to say, it's where they were putting Louis down just as the cat went off. And two, I hate Karen, and she's too dramatic, and I forgot about Morbida Destiny, who lives next door. Who I'm just like, oh, she's still bothering this lady who's just trying to make her soup. Leave her alone.
What number are you on?
Oh, I picked Christy and the Snobs. I don't remember.
It's number 11.
11, I thought so, yeah.
Okay, that's like, pretty sad that like what number it is out of how many.
Yeah.
No, I know like the original 20. Yeah. Like for sure I can go through the original 20, right?
Yeah. And I always like this one, so I'm like, oh, I'll pick it. But I forgot about Louis in this one. So.
It is a hard one to read, isn't it? Yeah. Especially if you're a pet lover. And I got 35 pages through What Lives in the Woods. And I will not be reading any more of this tonight because 35 pages in and I'm already creeped out. So we're going to wait on that one until tomorrow. Then we'll read some
Babysitter's Club or something, right?
Yeah, Sweet Valley. She for a middle grade book, like maybe I'm just a wimp, but these are like kind of creepy, creepy.
Well, I mean, just look at the cover of her next book. I mean,
if
the inside meets the outside, it's gonna be really creepy because I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, Lee. You should look it up. But
what is it called?
It Found Us, or it's something. It's
something like that, yeah.
But it's got this creepy kid cover, and it's
with there's no eyes, like
there's almost no face. It's like
yeah, like that's a middle grade book.
Yeah, no,
right.
No, there's creepy statues in the background. No, thank you.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, like, since reading Scritch Scratch, like, the thing is that a lot of middle grade books, if it's like something scary, it's like there's an actual explanation for it. Oh, it was this or that. But she doesn't do that. It was actually a ghost. So knowing this now going in, I'm like, okay, so what the hell's happening here? Like.
I just finished a ghost story too, and it was actually a ghost in it too. It was called Field of Screams, and it's got kind of a creepy cover. It's got a girl going into like a field of corn or whatever.
Oh, yes.
And everything. And I think it's very atmospheric, so I think a lot of people would probably like it a little bit more than me. And it did have an interesting like ghost story. I was really curious about it, but for me it was a little too slow. But it was definitely one of those like more atmospheric, kind of spooky ghost type stories for middle grade.
So. Fair enough.
And so Susan says, I liked Jurassic Park 2. I've read most of Michael Crichton's books and have liked most of them. I would like to know, Susan, if you're still around, did you like the second Jurassic Park one, Lost World? Because it only got 2 books. And every time everybody says they didn't like the second one, so I haven't tried it. So I'm curious, and I need to get to that one. But I have Congo on my shelf by Michael Crichton that I need to try. I've watched the movie like eons ago, so I don't think it would like mess up any enjoyment because I can't remember anything except for Big Gorilla. So I'd like to get to that one at some time. Mm-hmm. And let's see. Lily said, enjoying Tim a lot. First Cully McCullough book. This has an older woman, younger man age gap. Well, that's cool. I had to look up the originally published in 1974. The one I read was published in 1980 something, and I just didn't feel like it had a romance. It just there just I don't know. It was just really weird, and it was about this lady who pretty much like makes this guy marry her out of guilt because she says she's dying when she's not really, but she's got like this, the paperback kind of, thoughts in her head, and like everybody's saying that she lets the books kind of, and so she's like, in the books, that's how it happens, if, I'm dying, so you're going to marry me, and then we'll live happy, all the ones.
Yeah.
So I felt like he was like pushed into it. Right. And then it was like, well, she's not dying or whatever. So, and I was like, that's just not romantic.
Well, I think that's kind of my holdback with the Thornbirds is that it's the romance with a priest.
Yeah.
Which
It's the taboo.
I don't know. I know it's a thing, but it's just weird, you know?
Yeah, it's the reason why I haven't tried it too.
Yeah. Just like this is
it's like I have it because it's like this iconic like book, but it's like, do I want to actually read it? I don't know.
Actually, Ollie and I were having a conversation on my latest video in the comment section. And he was talking about, because the one book I held up was about two cousins, like potentially having like a relation. It was an older Harlequin book. And he's like, in England, it's still legal to marry your first cousin. I'm like, well, that explains the royal family. But, and I said, but it's still weird. And he's like, when he was a kid, the local vicar was married to his first cousin. And I just replied saying, well, that makes family reunions really easy.
Yeah, true.
Like, it's just, it's a different time. You know what I mean? It was a different time that modern standards shouldn't have, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's creepy to think about, but yeah, it's just how it was back then and everything.
Right.
But,
right. Like, we think it's so weird, but what was normal back then was just normal.
And that's like one of the like weird things about like the whole like ancestry DNA and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. How many people are finding out that they're like married to somebody they're related to?
Yep.
Because I mean, you know, I have cousins that I've never met that my grandpa, my dad's dad, was married before he married my grandma, and he had two girls. After they divorced, she wouldn't let him see them anymore and took them off. My dad has no clue about them or what happened to them or anything. So I've got cousins, you know, so people that, you know, that happens. So like, what happens if, you know, all of a sudden you're like, oh, look, I'm married to my cousin.
Well, the other thing is too, is that like sperm donation, right? Yeah. They cap it at a certain point, because if not, there could be hundreds of children who are half siblings who have no idea, so, you know, who could end up, right?
Yes. I don't know if you guys know, I was just thinking, my cousin CJ and I were talking about this at Easter. There's this documentary on Netflix, and it's called like Our Father. And it was basically a infertility doctor who couples would go to be treated for infertility, and he was putting his own. He was the donor for everybody.
I think I've heard of something like that.
Yeah.
It's like this town of like 1,200 people, and like 70% of them are all related to him, or it's some crazy number of like people. Yeah. And then it was like, one of the things was in the documentary was that a husband and wife, they thought it was her that couldn't conceive. The husband was fine. They thought they were using his sperm to conceive the child. It wasn't. It was the doctor. Oh. And now that girl had infertility, and she was going to him, and he artificially inseminated him with her. Oh. So basically, like her father doing it to her.
That's just not right.
No.
Oh.
One of my friends, one of the old guys that's at Denny's that I hang out with or whatever, he was quite a wild child in the 70s or whatever it is. He's a recovering alcoholic, and he did a few drugs and all that stuff. He refuses to do DNA testing. He goes, I'm not having some kids coming out of the woodwork.
That's it.
He's like, I don't want nobody. I don't want to know if there's any kids running around.
We were out, this was years ago, Garrett and I, right? We saw this kid, and I said to Garrett, I said, are you sure you only had the two? Because that's like, because Garrett's kids, no DNA test is needing.
They look
exactly like him, you know? So, he was probably my brothers.
So my stepmother, I forget how many there's total of them, like 7 of them. But in the middle, like, let's say number 4 and number 7, she gave away for adoption. And then still had some, you know, after that and in between. Later on in life, like, she's in her 50s, and she finds out that she has this brother and sister. And I immediately, like, went to, like, my mom and dad's best friends. I was like, tell me the truth. Is it just us 3? Like, let us know. Is there anything else?
I don't know anything.
I don't want to be 50 years old finding out some shit like this happened. You know what I mean? So...
Well, I can just say I'm really glad. My dad was married once before he got married to my mom, and they had no kids. So I'm like, yes.
There you go.
Well, I've told you guys before that Garrett's sister was married to his brother.
What?
Yeah, Garrett's sister was married to his brother. because Garrett's half brother married his half sister, so they have no relation at all.
Okay.
That's
right, but
yes.
it's just weird.
I had a cousin. I had a cousin on one side of my family and a cousin on the other side of my family dating for a little while, and it was just weird. There's no relation, but it was just weird.
There's no blood relation, but like they didn't grow up together, but it's like the Brady Bunch.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, it's just weird. I'm sorry.
Well, PK said, sorry so late. Had to assist my husband with delivering his truck plus road construction season. Yes. Then had to walk the dog or else. I'll be reading Heir of Noveron by Michael J. Sullivan eventually tonight.
Excellent.
And Lady Val said, didn't get your reading done, but did get a lot of my inbox cleaned out. Well, that was productive.
Bonus.
Thank you for the note there.
48%.
Mm-hmm.
And Purple Reinhardt said 41 pages and made a grocery list. All right.
Excellent.
And
thank you for adding again to my to-do list. Hang on.
grocery. Oh, wait. I need to do this. Oh yeah. And Amy says got to 52%. Jessica Land, 26%. Annie made it 28%. And Tina said read 6 chapters of Biscuit and / Browns while doing a little bit of crocheting and a bit of cleaning.
Excellent.
Very productive.
Mm-hmm.
Danielle says it made it to 30% and made some popcorn.
Yum.
Nice.
Is that going to be on your list too?
Yeah.
It sounds good anyway.
It does. I want to, but no.
And Tina said this is book 4 in the series, and they've taken place in less than a year. So someone has been getting murdered like every month.
So you guys will appreciate this. So Garrett and I wrote yesterday. We were driving through this small town to go up to another town. Garrett's like, I would love to live in a small town. I'm like, no, people get murdered here way too often.
You're like, no, not a good idea.
You read too many cozy mysteries when.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, it's like now when my town was, back in the days when it was a mining town, people got killed here quite often because, mining
yes, understandable
or whatever it is. But the population was also a lot bigger. But now there's only like maybe 2,100 people, and I think there's been at least maybe a couple of murders. So it's like at least my small town isn't a cozy yet.
Right. You're like, it's not cozy here.
So Tina says also this book takes place during a maple syrup festival.
Oh, nice.
And PK said Tim is a beautiful book. It was made into a movie starring Mel Gibson. It was his first movie. He was so pretty back then. I have seen that around, like when I'm looking, and I know that Mel Gibson played it, but I didn't know it was based on a book. It makes me kind of curious about the book now, so I'll probably add that one too. And Amy says, I'm going to get off now. I need to take a shower. And thank you for the sprints, ladies. Good night, everyone. Good night, Amy. Good night. And Cajun says, my cousin is half Hawaiian. He's so pretty. The other girl cousins and I would look at him and then say, he's our cousin. I had a crush on one of my cousins whenever I was younger. Like, we hung out all the time, and I wanted him for a brother more than I wanted my own brother. Because we just got along really well. Yeah. And we hung out and everything. And he was pretty back then, but now he's not so pretty anymore. So
I think a lot of that happens with a lot of cousins. Like, I used to jokingly say I was going to marry because I was 5 years old, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to marry, right. Right? So
he became a truck driver, and he's not quite so pretty anymore. It caught up with him. His physique is not quite so much, and he chewed skull all the time.
Oh.
And it's messed up his teeth, and he had to get false teeth, but then he doesn't wear them, so he looks like a grandpa, even though he's only a few years older than him.
Oh my Lord!
So he didn't age well.
No.
Beth says, finish eating my pizza and chatting with my roommates. Have a problem with noisy neighbors about my dog. Oh, nosy neighbors about my dog. Tell them just to go away.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Tina says, I watched this person on TikTok whose father was a donor, and they talked about how in America that isn't really regulated enough to track or monitor anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And PK says DNA companies own your DNA when you send a sample and can therefore do whatever they want with it. Think about those ramifications. I'll never do it. I did it. I mean,
I want to do it.
I mean,
The way I look at it, I have nothing to hide. I didn't murder.
That's me. I'm like, I just wanted to find out like where it come from, and
yes,
like the thing with me though, my mother's real father, the one I never met, is part Indian and Irish, or Native American and Irish, and my dad's father was in the roll books, the Dosh roll books in Oklahoma. His family was on the reservation there for a little while. So I wanted to see how much, like Native American blood was in me. And whenever I got the stuff back, it doesn't say anything. And I'm like,
really?
Okay, I know there's got to be something here because we have proof.
Right.
And my mom, if I show you a picture of my mom, she has high cheekbones and everything and stuff. And so it's like, you could tell that she had some like, Native American blood in her. And so I'm like, I don't get it. So it's like, do they not tell you that?
Yeah, there's one that breaks it down, like percentage-wise, like how much. Now, actually, I was talking to a coworker about it. She's actually from Iran, and born and raised there. Her whole family, like for thousands of generations, they've lived in Iran. And she said she was fascinated by white people, or like, because we are so mixed. We're not right. And she says, she goes, I wonder what you are. I said, I don't know. That's why I want to do it, because I'm interested, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, pretty white. I'm like 50% European.
Oh, God, yeah.
Scottish, German. There was like 1% India or something like that. I'm like, oh, look, I go 1% to something else.
I had a friend of mine who's came back and said it was 10% African, and her husband said, that's your butt.
I had to work. Oh, that work. I tell you.
All this gets in the way.
And Susan says, Stormy never saw the second Jurassic Park movie and didn't read the book. I didn't read Congo either. I need to look at my book journal and see which ones I've read.
Oh, okay.
I've seen all the movies. Even the new one. I like Chris Pratt, so I watched the new ones.
There you go.
And Tina says, like the person is donating could just lie and say they don't have a certain gene or whatever for the child, and then the family, it's so difficult to figure out the allergies or possible diseases. Yeah. Rebecca says, wow, exciting way to start the week. I'm pretty sure there's no DNA surprises in my family. Yes, you never know what might get talked about here. And Sharon said, Sarah, easy for family reunions, but awkward if they break up.
Which they did.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
And Hayden says, I did have a coworker that murdered his wife. That was a day until the police found him.
Wow. It's always the husband.
Yeah. Well, like the one, I actually knew the one guy that got murdered here in town, and he was so sweet and so nice, but he was naughty, and he was catting around there and had a girlfriend, and he decided to get rid of the girlfriend and go back and stay with his wife, and the girlfriend got mad and shot him. So.
Well, isn't that what they always say? Oh, he was so nice. She was so nice. I can't imagine that this would have happened. I'm like, if any of my neighbors wound up killing somebody, I'd be like, yeah, it was obvious. The gunshots were going off all night. What are you talking about?
Did you guys see that story? I don't know how recently it is, but there's a woman who murdered her husband because she found pornographic pictures on his phone of another woman. It turns out it was her when she was thinner.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
Garrett, we were laughing.
It's like there was like no recognition to her at all in that at all.
I'm like, there is a romantic suspense novel in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm. That just really just is the instant karma right there. You know what I mean?
You know?
That's crazy. And Tina says, now I'm searching up the crime rate in my town. There's 200 people in my town, but not like a cozy Gilmore Girl like small town. It's just trees. Okay, well, in my town, we have a crazy dude that's he's definitely white supremacist type, militia type, but I mean, the guy's like extremely smart too, and nobody wants to mess with him in town. But he's the weirdest dude because he's got half a beard, so like half of it hangs down and the rest of it's shaved.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's got this long hair, and I mean, it's just wacko, just really wacko. But he, nobody wants to go out to his, because like he probably would shoot you. Nobody talks to him about how tall the grass is in his yard. Nobody wants to go, and he will go to the city hall meetings with a camcorder and he will record people. And so they're afraid to like mess with him, like to do anything. And he's just one of those like really wacky guys.
Mm-hmm.
He ran for mayor of our town one year, and everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, please don't vote for that man."
This sounds like a guy. My sister works for the police station, and she says there's a guy very similar to this. He's always coming in and he wants public files, and he's always like causing this big thing. And there was somebody who was running for an office, just like a lower level office, and he was following him and recording him. The guy was like, "Please just leave me alone," and was like 4 cars ahead of him in the parking lot. The guy recording slipped and fell like in a pothole or whatever. And he's like, "Did you see that? He attacked me." And he's like still holding the camera up. And like there was other people in the parking lot and he's like waving the and everybody's just like, "You just fell by yourself. Please just stop. Like, you look stupid." And that's he did. He ran for the office of the guy that he was chasing down and thing. Yeah. And like got 2 votes. Which is probably
we've got the craziness in the town, but
Yeah.
And so Rebecca says, actually, there's something crazy with my cousin's family, just a kind of like my own grandpa thing, but not with the blood relatives, stepchildren kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing genealogy research for years and have done the DNA testing. I found lots of second, third, and earlier cousins. It's great because I found cousins in England and Canada. Yeah, I've traced like my grandma on my dad's side all the way to like when they came over from England in like the 1600s or something like that. And so that's kind of fun. And that like one of them was in the 42nd Kentucky Regiment. So,
cool.
And things like that. So it's kind of interesting. I like to look that kind of stuff up. I just wish it didn't cost so much because like ancestry.com costs so much to like
that's
get
the problem.
Stuff. And because I did a lot of, but my tree is on there and all that I know.
Well, that's the thing is that it saves it. So like, you can, if you have the hankering to do it for a month or so, go ahead and pay for a month.
Yeah.
And then let it, and then come back to it later, right?
Yeah, that was I saw a lot of mine online when I did pay for it for 1 month, and I'm like, oh, I wonder who did all of this. And I saw somebody's name, and there was an email address, and I just messaged him and just kind of said who I was in relation to people in my family, and it was my grandfather's brother, and he had started to do like a lot of that side of it, and it was nice to get to know that side of the family too, because I'd never met them, or if I did, I was like a baby.
Well, I had a lady email me on there, and she's like, "I think I'm related to you. I think I know you." And she named like my mom and her sisters and all that stuff and things like that. And she's like, "I remember them from like when they were here in California, because that's where my mom was originally from, was California, and everything." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." And so I like asked my aunt, I was like, "Hey, do you know this person?" And she's like, "Yeah, I know that person." So like I met a cousin on ancestry.com. So
there you go.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And PK says DNA, they can sell your DNA for experimenting or otherwise, but my aunt did it. We're all Norwegian on that side, so we asked why. Come back 99% Norwegian and 1% Irish. She said, well, they pillaged. Well, and that's like one of the things, because my dad says that one of his like aunts or uncles or something would always say, "We're from the old country," and stuff, and say he was only, from like Sweden or whatever. And there was like this like Saskatchewan or whatever it is in part of like mine, and he's always said that he's been told that we were kin to Eric the Red, which is that like really mean Viking. I said that's where I get my temper. That's where I get my temper.
Oh, that's awesome. My aunt and I have talked about it, and because my grandmother is from Poland, I mean, clearly this is Polish. That my aunt's like, there's got to be Jewish. It just probably. So I said, if it comes back and it is, Mazel tov.
There you go. There you go.
But it is kind of interesting just to see like all the different places. And it's not interesting because it'll like track like well you came from like England and you landed in in like Virginia or whatever and you traveled northern this way to there and it's like we did all this and we landed here. What on earth were we thinking? Yeah. All the places that they traveled and we landed here. Mm-hmm. Tina says, I don't know if it was in our town, but near us recently, a murder between a man and his stepson. Ooh. And Susan said Native American DNA would show up, but not necessarily in all siblings. My brother and I have similar DNA, but I have one ethnicity that only showed up in mine, which even though we are full siblings. Well, that's weird. Well, I told my dad I want him to do it just because I want to see if it shows up with him or whatever.
Right.
Like if you have a mixed race couple, it's not a guarantee that the child will be of a certain color. Right?
Correct.
And they could not be that color, and then their grandkids could be the color because you know what I mean? Like, it's interesting how it skips around.
One of my friend's sister, when she had her first baby, come out a little dark, and they're both white. And he's like, "Do you have something you need to tell me?" Because he did, and I was like, "Well, that's good. He's a really good tan because he was just a little bit tanner than they were because they were really white and stuff." But it was just I said, "Well, it's your family background, or whatever." My brother has a little bit of a red tint in his beard and stuff, and his hair, but it's brown. But he has a little bit of a tint, and I was like, "Well, we have a little Irish or whatever, and they're redheads, and it's in there."
That's it.
What is the theme for next month? I'm going to guess you're talking about the scavenger hunt. And so the first one is summer theme. And then the other one is white on the cover or in the title. Rebecca says, I have a friend whose son was murdered by his girlfriend with a crossbow. She ran to Colorado, but they got her. Happened a few years ago on Father's Day, and he did die in his dad's arms.
Wow.
And Annie says, I looked up police reports for my gated community because I kept seeing police cars. There were 6 calls in 1 week. They were all domestic disturbances. Yeah, when I took a ride along with the police one time, we went to several. It was domestic disturbances all in the one. It was every time we'd pull in to go eat somewhere that he'd get a call. I was so starved by the time I got done. I'm like, those poor policemen, my goodness. I was like, he's like, oh, nothing ever happened. You're probably going to be really bored. And I'm like,
And then,
nope. Nope.
And Rabbit said, my cousin did an ancestry test and happily bragged that he was an Avenger. And Tina says, I'm mostly Italian and Irish, but my great-grandfather became a Russian citizen. That was only him, but my great-grandmother was not Russian.
Oh, interesting.
There you go.
Sharon says, my coworker's daughter is in prison for murdering her husband with a hammer.
Yikes.
Wow. And Tina says, he didn't live there for long. He's just a Russian citizen, like for a couple years.
Okay. Interesting.
And here, I was going to ask you that. Are we having sprints on Friday, Sarah, since you have your test and all that stuff?
Yeah, the test is at like 10 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'll be done by like 1, and then I'm going to come home and just be like, for a couple of hours.
Will you know right away if you passed or not?
Literally, the second you press the button, then I'm going to do this. And then the trustee's going to be behind me, and he'll tell me.
Okay.
And PK says, "Do you know the actor Rupert Penny Jones is? I don't know who that is. But he says white, blonde, and blue eyes did what a family did that Family Tree show not too far back, and the branch was 100% a native Indian.
Oh, that's interesting.
But yet didn't look it. Yeah,
Yeah. It's interesting the way it skips around.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I watched. They had a short. They had George Lopez, and they were telling him what his DNA was or whatever it is, and he was like 4% black or like that's what is it, sedance something. Can't remember. But he goes, I'm black. He had 4%. He's like, I'm black.
That's funny.
Oh, wait. In April it was Amish, and this month was middle grade. Wanted to know if they're
no. You're meaning BookTube events, Pat.
Yeah, BookTube
because
events.
those weren't the themes. But in June, Michael K. Vaughn is hosting June on the Range, so it's Western themed books. If you want to participate in that, just saying.
Yeah.
None of us have anything going on.
We don't have anything going. And well, there's a small, slight week-long event that nobody knows about
yet.
It's
only going to be a week long?
That Tiffany wants
to that do. One. You guys got me all over the place, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that Tiffany wants to do.
Yeah.
And everything. But I won't spoil her. But it's a week long. So that's like the only thing that we have coming up. And it's very niche, too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like really surprised that that's how she wanted to do it. But I was like, okay.
You guys are in July. I'm sorry. I'm already thinking
ours is in July, and it's only a week for July as well. But
yeah.
But you can read all month long if you want, because I'm probably have to get started early.
Like now.
Well, it's like, if any of the books are print books, I gotta get started at the beginning of the month, and I may have it finished by the time it comes up.
Truth.
But yeah, you're supposed to read Westerns for June on the Range, but you can also just read something that has a Western theme, I think, and get away with it.
My video will be out on Thursday if you want cowboy romance recommendations.
MJ was reading Lone Woman by Victor LaSalle, I think is what. And it's like set in kind of old-timey Western times, but it's a horror book. So
I have a stack of Maisie Yates books over there that will start getting read. So,
and I was looking at some of, like, I've got some, but the thing is there's no audiobook, and it's like I really want to read this one, but it's like one of those thick ones.
Yeah.
And so it might be my only one. If I get started at the beginning of the month. I keep putting it on my retro romance stream, but I never get it read because it's thick and I can't find an audiobook for it. So I want to. And Susan says, Sarah, my grandmother was Hungarian, and my mom also said the same, that we were part Jewish. Turns out I have 2% Ashkenazi.
Okay, yeah.
That percentage would be very far back, so hard to research.
Yeah, it would be.
It says Sarah was there an event for a book. Oh, that's in July.
BookTube at Wars in July.
Yeah, where you read war books or whatever it is. Yeah. And Sharon says, mine came back with that too. I'm mainly Italian, so that was a surprise. Eastern Band Cherokee and probably English, Scottish, Irish. Yeah, see, Cherokee is in our family and stuff too. So, and Pat says, "Great, I have a lot of cowboy type books." All right, there you go. And PK says, "Being from Montana, I get wary of cowboys. Can't be something like Roman March or something." And Dia says, "I'm German, Irish, Greek, and Turkish." And the thing about the DNA too is the more research they do on it and the more things they do, they'll send you an update. And so, like, I find out that, I'm not all this. I'm a little bit more of this, or I've gained a little bit more Scottish. And as they do like more research.
That is interesting.
He says about the Neanderthal summer in honor of Mike.
It's hilarious.
We could do a Neanderthal November.
There you go.
And that says, fourth great grandfather on my mother's side was German general and aide
To
to
Hitler.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, we have reached the end. Is that fireworks? I was wondering because I'm like,
I actually thought something fell off her desk onto the floor.
well, I kept hearing it, and it's like it keeps going. It keeps going.
I
so
keep
was like,
going
what?
on mute because,
It
right?
gets loud.
Yeah.
So I figured it must have been fireworks. They're getting started a little bit early.
That'll be us on Friday.
No, because
Yep.
it's Victoria Day weekend. It was yesterday, today. It'll be going all week.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that dark, is it? I mean, they're already doing.
Oh no, it's
fireworks.
pitch black outside right now.
Oh, is it black?
Yeah.
But okay, well, we've gotten to the end of the comments and everything, so we'll just wrap it up. And so don't forget, we have on Sarah's channel on Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you then. And bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.